This is like my third take. Today's a big day. We've got stores open. We are finally able to shop inside, so I'm getting up at a decent time. It's 7:20. Tomorrow I leave for the Cannonball 300, so I'm finally able to make this video, and I can't wait to actually get out there, start filming. The weather looks perfect, but there's a few more things that I have to get before I'm actually ready. I gotta get my nutrition, I gotta get my food, I gotta get a top tube bag, and I'm borrowing Paulo Laberge's Apidura full frame bag because the only thing that Arkel sent me that isn't quite going to work, just because I'm bringing all of this camera gear, is the little half frame bag. It can barely fit the tent poles, and I can't really fit much else in there. So it'll be nice to have something a little bit bigger, but that half frame bag will be great for day trips and smaller overnighters where I'm not bringing all of this camera gear with me. I posted a photo actually in the bikepacking Facebook group, and everyone's going like, what's wrong with you? Why are you bringing all this camera gear? Well, gotta make a documentary about the trip, support Arkel, and hopefully make something fun and entertaining for you guys to watch to inspire you to get out on your own local bikepacking trip if you can't get out and travel as much, or if you just don't want to. There's that option. Why not? So let's get this day started. I'm gonna finish my coffee, get some breakfast. One other thing, tons of things happening this weekend. My good friend Tara Nolan is coming over from Savvy Gardening. I just bought a ton of vegetables to build a vegetable garden. It's become super popular because, well, I mean, for myself, I finally have a house that I can do this. And I can't wait to make food. All right, so like I said, one of the things that I want to do when I moved into this new place, because I wasn't able to do it before, was actually have my own veggie garden. I'm not much for flowers and that. I need my plants to have some kind of use. And I also don't like cooking, so I figure if I'm growing the plants that I'll be eating, there's a bit more of a connection to it, and I'll hopefully enjoy it. So I went into the deep end and bought a gardening book. Learned a little bit, but I figured I should bring in a pro who's actually a good friend of mine, Tara Nolan. So Taryn actually co-owns a website called Savvy Gardening, which has exploded in the last year, and she's here to actually help me maybe space out my plants properly, give me some tips and tricks so I don't hopefully kill my plants before I get to eat them. So Tara, let's get into it.
Awesome.
Okay, so I have one big bag of topsoil here, and you just said that this was actually a pretty good topsoil to go with.
It is. It's amended with compost, which is great because you need that for your veggies to grow and be nice and healthy. So, and you've got a few bags I see on the cart over there, so you're kind of good to go. You've already prepped your garden, I see, and the soil underneath, it needs some amending, but it's nice and loose, so you're ready to plant once you get your soil in.
Yeah, my soil is pretty well dust, so it needs some amending.
Yes.
So
this was a good purchase.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll apply this first, and then we'll start planting once that's done.
Yes.
Amazing.
We're ready to plant once that soil goes in.
Let's get dirty.
All right.
Quickly as possible.
And we're just going to cover the whole garden with soil. You want to make sure that you've got a few inches so that you can get all that rich organic matter into the soil. And
you said that there is compost and some manure in here as well?
Yeah, there's compost in there.
So gloves maybe?
Yeah, I mean...
If you want. If you're grossed out by those things. Okay, Tara, so we've got the sweet bell peppers.
Yes.
And we've got our topsoil laid down.
Yes, we are ready to plant.
We're ready to plant. So
ready to plant.
Take us through.
So the first thing, your plant tag is your friend, because all of the information you need to grow this is on the back. So it's going to tell you the light requirements. So the peppers need full sun. You've already figured out that you get a lot of sun in this garden, so that's good. You need at least about 8 to 10 hours a day. So this is a good spot for your garden. It's also going to tell you how far apart to space your plants. So, this one says 45 to 60 centimeters. I imagine that one's probably about the same. One thing to keep in mind, sometimes you can manage to plant things a little bit closer together. It's funny because, everything looks so empty when you first plant it, so it's tempting sometimes to plant things a bit closer to make it look like a fuller garden, but some of these plants are going to be huge by the end of the season. So your tomatoes, for example, you're going to probably want to put cages around them. If you want to just stake them, they can be a little bit closer together, but you do want to have some space so that you have the airflow to be able to go through them, so that the actual plants can grow, so that the sun can reach the fruit and ripen it. So there's a few things just to kind of keep in mind when you're planting. Because it's easy to sort of just want to pack your garden and call it a day.
Make it look like it's already full.
Exactly, but it's going to fill in, even in a month's time, it's going to be remarkable how much will have grown by then. So I see even like on your pepper here, you've already got flowers, so you're not too far from.
That's actually new. I think that's new today.
Yeah, so this it's pretty far along. So you've got a good healthy plant here, and really we just have to dig it in. And
perfect.
So one thing that you'll want to keep in mind when you're planting is just you can't tell with this very much, but for example with the pepper here, you'll see that it's a bit root bound.
Yeah.
So you'll just want to break up the roots and loosen them up a little bit before you plant. Right. So
just so they can spread a bit easier.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but we'll do that one after. Okay. And then this one, you can just put in, fill it in. Tomatoes like to be planted deeply because they've got adventitious, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, roots that come out. So it'll form a really good root system.
Okay, so we got the rest of my tomato plants. I have 5 tomato plants. I didn't think I actually had that many, but they need to be spaced 2 feet apart. So we kind of just guesstimated that. And now we're on to which pepper? So I don't even remember.
I've already thrown the tag away somewhere. This is a bell pepper.
Bell pepper?
Pretty sure, yeah. I didn't pick up any of the spicy ones yet. So, yeah, and the reason for spacing the tomatoes is if you're going to put cages over them, you want to have the space for the cages.
Right.
And you want to make sure that you get the cages on when the plants are small, and that way you're not breaking off any of the leaves or even any of the fruit that might be setting, in a few weeks' time. So. It's a good idea even to get stakes in right away, so you're not disturbing the roots either, because once the roots get going, you don't want to be sticking a stake in and just disturbing them either. So it's a good idea. And even peppers. So I know we see tomato cages used for tomatoes, but peppers benefit from staking in cages too. Mine were huge last year.
How many peppers did you get out of yours last year?
I got a lot. I mean, I don't even know. So I had cayenne, I had jalapenos, I had some sweet peppers. Sweet peppers are harder, I find. I get a lower yield on those. But I had so many jalapenos. I had jars of pickled jalapenos. I made hot sauce with my dad with the cayenne, and I had sriracha peppers. I think there's still some in the freezer. Can we talk about the inappropriate footwear? I often actually garden in flip-flops, and then I come in with bites all over my feet. So it is a good idea to wear running shoes in the garden and socks. Yeah, so you can see your soil is a little bit hard packed, so it'll benefit from amending it with some nice, the nice stuff that we've got on top here over time. So that's another tip, is just to make sure that you amend the soil every year. Even in the fall, it's a good idea to put some compost down. So we've broken up the roots a little bit. They're wet. This plant's been watered this morning, so we're gonna we can probably do it a little bit deeper.
So I'm a good plant dad so far.
So far, so good. Yes. And we can talk about watering as well, which is essential, especially in that hot weather that we've had. So this probably could have gone a bit deeper. It's kind of hard to get in there to the soil, but this is pretty good.
Okay, Tara, so we got my whole garden planted, and it already looks like 100 times better than what it did
great,
before.
And it didn't take very long, so.
No, and I feel like now I've got a bit of a better understanding how to space the plants out and which ones need a little more sunlight. So I feel like we're pretty well arranged here.
And then we wanted to talk about watering a little bit.
Watering is important, and I never know how much to actually put in.
Yes, and I can't remember how you described it earlier.
I was using my Yeti bottle and just kind of dumping it on, because I actually need to get something to actually put the water bottle there. I do, may not reach back here.
Oh, okay.
It's a very short hose.
So maybe get a hose extension, or if you have a watering can, or a bigger Yeti, because you're going to be making a lot of trips. You want to water deeply. Okay. In the morning, I go out with my hose or my watering cans, depending on where I'm going in the garden, and I water really deeply. So you don't just want to sprinkle, you want to just get right down to those roots, because they're going to be growing downwards, and you want that water to reach all the way down, and that will help your plants thrive throughout the season. Sometimes they can get a little bit stunted, or you can get issues with when you're underwatering. Okay. So you do want to water, but you do also want to make sure that the soil's dried out in between. Okay. So if you put your hand in a little bit, you can tell if it's really wet. If you get a rainstorm, like we had that crazy rain, it meant I didn't have to water the next day. We got so much rain everything was well watered for that day. And then the next morning I went out and watered. So
Great.
Make sure you water each one deeply. Water at the base of the plant, so you don't want to be splashing water on the tomato leaves. You want to be watering at the base of the plant.
Right.
And getting it right
Because
down
that
to
can
those
burn
roots.
the leaves in the direct sunlight?
Yeah, and also with the splash up, sometimes if there's any soil-borne diseases, it can affect the tomato plants as well. So you want to make sure you're just watering from the base. Same with the peppers. Lettuce, of course, is okay because you know, you can't really get in amongst. I know you have some lettuce up there that you're going to plant in a pot. So once that gets really dense, you can't water from the base of the lettuce. So you'll be able to just sprinkle the water on top.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for coming out,
Yeah,
showing
no
me
problem.
how to do this.
Been great. It's a nice cool day. We've been in a heat wave, so this has been great. It's been breezy, but good.
It was super last minute that I called you out and you're like, let's do it tomorrow, let's go.
Yeah.
So this was
is
great.
And everything's in, and you know, you're going away for the weekend, so make sure someone waters for you.
Yeah.
If you can.
I think I'll be able to. We're doing some more garage work tomorrow, so family will be over.
Whoever's
to do
over,
that.
Make sure they water for you.
Yeah. Well, thanks again.
No problem.
And,
good luck.
Yeah, we'll figure this out.
Call me with questions.
Definitely. Perfect.
Hi guys.
You're open.
We are.
You're open.
So exciting. I don't know how to deal with people anymore though.
I know. In the store now, which is great, because buying stuff for a bike packing trip, tough to do.
Challenging.
Yeah, challenging to do that.
Yeah.
So it's great. I always gotta make a video. Are you kidding me?
You're always making videos.
Always.
I don't know why you do all these videos.
Why? Because it's fun. Maybe because it's the best. People like to watch them.
No,
Awesome.
you're right. I always like to watch your
Yeah,
videos.
see?
Here's your bag.
Thank you. This is my second last stop of the day. I've been running around all day trying to find stuff.
Yeah, I know that you want to probably have an Arkell bag, but this is a good
I
bag
might
too.
tape it up. All right, so this is something that was kind of funny. I was planning on stopping at the Sport Check in Stone Road Mall after seeing this guy who you might recognize. But I planned on stopping there to go get some dehydrated food for one of our nights on our bike packing trip. But clearly, Paulo has got everything in here. He is ready for any bike packing trip at any time.
It's a little embarrassing. I mean, it's pretty messy. I mean,
I'm pretty sure anyone watching this is going to be like, I wish that I had the space
well,
and a
yeah.
partner that would let me just do this.
Well,
And that is also into
she's
it.
part of the reason it's messy.
I know.
I mean, her
That's the
bikes
best
are
part.
around here too, right?
Is that she is just as into it, which
She's-
is what makes
yeah.
it doable. It is
Well-
unreal. I wish I had this many bikes. And like, this is like the dream. So I don't know if I don't know if I told you that I moved. So I moved to the East Mountain.
Oh, I didn't know you moved.
Yeah, so we're actually rebuilding the garage right now, and it's like basically a 2-car garage, but it's like it was horribly built. So we're reinforcing it, and then I'm going to turn it into like a bike garage /
that's
carpentry garage for my buddy who
You
lives
can
with me.
have like a tool
Yeah,
wall.
that's the plan.
Just try to be a little more organized with your tools. Mine are all like scattered everywhere.
You were organized last time. I'll give you
Yeah.
it.
Well, I prepared for that. This
Yeah.
I didn't prepare for.
So long story short, Paulo has everything that you need. So come to the store of Paulo, but maybe don't. But maybe do. Last stop, the studio. Okay, so all of the running around for the day is done. I'm exhausted, but I'm still packing up right now. I haven't really filmed much of that because I get stressed. Try to make sure that I remember all of my camera gear and remember all the things that I need on the regular for a bike packing trip is a lot. So right now I don't have a perfect fit on the Apidura frame bag, but it's gonna have to do because I need a little extra space that the Arkell bag just doesn't quite give me. And then I did buy a Blackburn top tube bag, so that's gonna house the GoPro, A7S III batteries. Wearing the Camelback right now because I'm actually testing the A7S III, hanging on from the capture clip because a part of this trip is about making the video about the trip. So I need to have the camera ready and accessible all the time and get some really cool shots. So also have a little top handle so I can get some riding clips, and all of that still needs to be done. So I think I'm gonna end it here and wish me luck.